Hey guys, what's up? I'm back, and today is the final review for the Cars movie series, Cars 3. This movie was the newest of the three, obviously, because it's Cars 3. It was released back in 2017, so it's already almost 3 years old. Something I cannot believe because I remember watching a lot of a lot of YouTube stuff hyping up this movie. I think it's already 3 years old. That's quite crazy to think about. How time sure does fly, huh? In the first, so here's how the video structure is going to work for this, because I have a rant, and there's a rant that it's a rant that I have addressed in an older video that has since been privated on the channel, and I think I've brought it up in a few other videos in like shorter or less stints, but nothing to the extent that I'm going to address it here, because this is what I've been waiting for. I've been waiting to be able to do this review so that I could give a full rant on it. The topic of the rant I'll explain later. The first half of the video is going to be an in-depth review of the movie up until the ending. And the second half is going to be looking at the ending and then ranting about it, because it is. That's where you get all the crap. So, bear with me here. It's going to be quite controversial for some people. Many people might agree with it, many people may not. But it's whatever. I'm not taking this video down for any controversial statements or anything. I'm not monetized or anything, so do whatever the hell you want with it. I don't care. So let's talk about it. Cars 3. Um, we're back in the Piston Cup after the World Tour thing. Queen's a little older now. Still very high profile in the series. Still winning races and contending for championships. And he has two new friends, Bobby Swift and Cal Weathers are the names, right? I know Cal Weathers is one. He took over for Strip Weathers. Then there's Bobby Swift. He's racing the Octane Gain car. It's not 58 anymore, it's 19. Wow, that was a sneeze. Um, but anyway, this is basically like, it's like the changing of the guards, basically, is what this movie is, because and then they're racing along, and then this new guy called Jackson Storm, he comes in, and he just starts obliterating the competition. He wins race after race, and he ends up winning Rookie of the Year, and I think he even wins a championship or something in the Piston Cup that year. And he takes the world by storm because he's a new breed of Piston Cup car. He's more aerodynamic. He's more technologically advanced. He can run the ideal line, and eventually, this new wave of these new cars take over for the old cars. Like changing of the guards, like pretty much every single car is changed, except for Queen. The Queen is in declining performance with these new cars that can run faster, more accurate movements than he can, and have a better chance of winning races and all that. So in the last race of the season, everybody else is, doing everything and stuff. He tries to race Storm, and he ends up taking up a really fast pit stop. And he ends up, what? No? Okay. It's my cat. It's 3:37 in the morning, and she's up. Just like me. But anyway, um, so basically, like, the new cars are getting taken over and stuff, except for McQueen. And it's the last race, and McQueen is gets a really fast pit stop and jumps out front. And Storm, because he's naturally faster and he's younger and everything, takes over for him. Takes over the lead pretty quickly, and then Queen chases him down, but ends up blowing a tire and crashing. It's a pretty hard crash. I didn't even mention the King's crash in the first review. It's like the King's crash from the first review. It's wild. It's hurting. It's like a death-defying crash. And the season's over, and he goes back, and he's like, I gotta find a better way to race, train and stuff. And so they go to a special training center down in like Florida or something. I don't remember what it is. But like basically the owner guy there is like training him up, but he's also trying to get him to retire so that he can become more of a brand than an actual racer. What's his name? Sterling. His name is Sterling. Mr. Sterling. Um, while McQueen is there, he also meets Cruz Ramirez, who's like the head trainer lady in this whole thing, and she aspires to be a racer as well. So you kind of get like the resemblance sort of thing there. She wants to be the racer that McQueen is or was, and she like trains him with new techniques and new methods and with new technology and all this to get him back to where he is. And while in the past, McQueen's also trying to like figure out like Doc's past. Doc is dead because Paul Newman sadly passed away, who voiced Doc. So they killed Doc off, but they have like voiceovers and like a bunch of other stuff to do for him, basically. Whatever that may be, I don't know. There's like special stuff and everything. It was cool. It showed the history behind Doc before Doc became what he is, and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. One of the better parts of the movie, I think. It shows what happens between Cars 1 and Cars 3 with Doc and McQueen and all that, which I think is also a very cool thing. So I enjoyed it. Enjoyed that part at least. But McQueen basically has to train to get better, use his technique of drafting, and all that. Then they get to the Florida 500, which is the first race of the new season. And McQueen's back. And McQueen basically has to win the Florida 500 in order to stay as a racer because Sterling has him under control now to the point where he's like saying he wants to turn him into a brand so he can make more money. McQueen doesn't want to. Sterling's like, here, go out, win this race. You can keep your job. And yeah, pretty much it. But it's not it. Because we get to the Florida 500. It starts off normal. McQueen starts in the back because he couldn't qualify for the race because he wasn't there on time. And he starts working his way up to the field, and he's doing pretty nicely. And Sterling has an argument with Cruz on pit road in his pit box, and she's like, he tells her to go back to the training center. She's always only going to be a trainer and never be a racer and everything, and just like all this stuff. And then a wreck happens, and McQueen gets through the wreck. And this is where it gets controversial, in my opinion. Because this is the ending part of the movie. Is when McQueen pulls himself out of the race, and Cruz goes into the race. And she has to go through her fears of racing in front of a bunch of people. But she's also living her dream of finally becoming a Piston Cup racer. And after a bunch of hard challenges and fights through all the rest of the drivers, and she finally gets up to Jackson Storm, and Storm first gets in her head, and she falls back. And then she gets back, she gets into Jackson Storm's head, and he tries to wreck her. She does that iconic Doc flip, the flip that Doc did earlier in the movie, in the flashback, and wins the race. But because McQueen started the race, he gets the points, and is also he started the race. He also is credited with the win, so he can technically retire whenever he wants. And Cruz gets the job at Dynaco because Cal Weathers retired on his own and he didn't get a replacement. So there's the review of it, like the summary of it stuff. But here's what I think about it. All right, it's an all right movie. It was a pretty good movie. It showed McQueen, going through all this stuff and it's an adventure. But the ending just screwed it up for so many reasons. The first reason, this entire movie series, over the last 11 years, has been about McQueen. It's been about McQueen. His successes, his failures, his growth as a car being through moral and heart and strength. And you take it away from him as at a time where he needs to prove that he's still as good as others in the field in the modern era with new technology and stuff, and you take it away from him. He doesn't even get a chance to prove it. And you give it to Cruz. Why do you give it to Cruz? Feminism. Because girls can do it too. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because girls can do it too. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So stupid. You're bringing in political ideals and political agendas and morals into a kids movie about racing. A movie and a movie series and a movie trilogy that has been lodged into people's brains and their hearts and their minds for 11 years. And you're taking that all away and you're ending it all on a sour, sudden note for feminism. Just to show that Cruz can do it too, that the girl community can do it too, because they would certainly do much better than these other contestants, contemporary, whatever piece of crap. It's dumb. It's really dumb. They ruin the childhoods. It's really dumb. It's stupid. And I don't know why. I don't know why they decided to do it. Actually, I do know why they decided to do it, because they had to promote feminism. 2017 is the height of this feminism movement, where people have to say, "Oh, I have a belief, and just because I'm a woman, that I should get whatever I want and not have to work for it." McQueen spent years training to become a great Piston Cup racer, and then now to be able to reprove himself, he had to go through more months, long, hard training sessions, through the grits and grins of trying to just get back to where he once was. And you take that all away for somebody who barely did anything? What are you doing, Pixar? Well, what were you doing in that situation? I get your point for that movie, but you fucked up. Good job. You failed. There's no point doing this at all. So why'd you do it? You did it because the people that watched the Cars 3 movie in theaters with their little kids are these middle 30s, early 40s Karens with these little kids. Right? And then you're going to get mad because your little political beliefs are not met in this situation. And it's just promoting sexism. Alright? That the men are so superior. Okay? Instead of recognizing that that's been an iconic movie Pixar character for 11 years. And you just ripped his identity away and threw in some unknown low-life women character in his place. Great job, Pixar. Great job. And that's why this movie's gonna get a 4. The movie itself, without the ending in it, gets an 8. But because of this, because the ending gets an absolute 0, you gotta average it down. So it gets a 4 out of 10.